Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a quick process video for you today. This is going to be day 6 of Note to Self from Bythewell4God. This day is written by Missy. She's Missy Brown on Instagram, and her page here is going to kind of fall between my two signatures, and so I'm going to try to do some things to kind of pull this together so it looks like one cohesive page, even though there's a little bit of a gap there. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut down a couple of these pieces of paper. These are the pattern papers that coordinate with the kit that you can get from Bythewell4God. I have the 6x8 size, but they do come in 6x6 as well. And I'm just trimming these down to the height of this paper, which happens to be, I think, like 5 1/4, just to start off with, so that it just makes this next part easier. I could, certainly cover the whole entire page, but I want to kind of create a couple of pockets out of this paper. Missy had a lot of scriptures in hers, and so I wanted to be able to have room to write them all down and store everything. So what I'm going to do, just to kind of keep this interesting, is I'm actually going to take these squares, I'm going to mark them, and I'm going to, there's just a little bit that hangs off over the edge, and so I am going to actually cut these down on the diagonal so that I have like corner pieces that I can use. So I'm not covering up all of the craft. I really love the neutral colors and with the pops of color with this kit. And so when possible, I'm trying to kind of keep as much, or, a good bit of the craft, just because I really like the look of that together. So you can see I'm just kind of turning this on an angle on my Fiskars cutter here, and that's just going to give me this little triangle down here on the right side, and then I'm going to do the same thing so that I have one on the left side, and then I'm going to glue this down just on the two sides so that each of these triangles will basically become a pocket. That way, if I want to use it, that way I can, instead of just gluing down the whole thing. So I'm just kind of lining that up, and I decided the craft area just needed a little bit of interest too. So I am using the Noteworthy Florals, I think that's what it's called, stamp set. And I decided I was just going to kind of stamp this here as symmetrically as I kind of can. So I'm doing this on the right side. I'm actually going to pick this up. You can see I didn't get quite a perfect impression. That's okay with me. It's just a background. And then I'm going to kind of turn my stamp so it almost looks like it's a mirror image, but it's not exactly, but it's close enough. So I am using archival ink in ground espresso. No, actually, I'm using black soot, actually. Yeah. Most of what I've done on here has been in ground espresso, but I did this particular stamping in black because it's in black on the paper as well. So you can see I got a little bit of a better impression over there on the left side. And I'm starting to place things down just to try to get an idea for where I want these. One of the journaling cards for the devotional was for this day. And so that was for one of Missy's scriptures. So I'm going to use that card that came in the kit. And then I'm also going to use a file folder here. And at this point, I was thinking like I would try it over here. I'm going to put, of course, Missy's little picture on there. I'm including those on every one of the days because they're so cute. And then I decided it needed more stamping in the background. So I went back to that Noteworthy Florals stamp, and now I've just taken this kind of single stamp, and I'm just going to do this in a few different places, a few different directions, just to try to fill in a little bit of that background. And then I'm going to turn my attention to this file folder. What I decided to do, instead of gluing it down to the page, I'm actually going to create a tip-in with this file folder kind of in the gutter between those two signatures, because I think this will really kind of just help everything feel like it's one cohesive page without that little gap there. So I'm using some leftover clear sticker paper, and I always save this from whenever I print out my printables, and I have like the edges, I always save that part. And I can see I just added it to the little file folder, and then I'm going to kind of put my file folder down in the gutter, and then I'm going to let that sticker paper get down there so that it's actually adhered to the spine in between these two signatures. And I think this is really just going to kind of pull everything together. You won't really notice that there's that this page falls between two signatures. And then where that sticker paper kind of overlapped up onto the craft paper, I'm just going to trim that off here. I'm just using an X-Acto knife and then just trimming that off just so that the sticker paper is just down in the gutter. And then I'm using a bone folder to burnish this down really well, and that way it kind of hides the clear sticker paper even more. And then I'm just doing the same thing to the front side of this little file folder. And so now I can use that file folder to hold all of my notes, which I have written while I was off camera. I wrote out all the scriptures. I wrote out some notes. I have everything written out. I also made my little title, which her title for this day was Abundant Life. She was talking about the life that we have in Jesus, that he came to give us life more abundantly. And so I want to include the title. I've been trying to do that for each one of these days. Again, this is the scripture card. This was came in the kit. I'm just going to glue this down. I am actually using some art glitter glue here. It's very similar to Barely Art's precision glue. It's just a white PVA that has a needle tip. And then I'm going to actually use this here to create a little pocket out of my file folder. At first I thought I was just going to glue down the bottom, but then I decided to just go ahead and glue both of the sides, and then I will make it just a side loading pocket this way, and that will hold all of my flashcards and the notes that are on there. I have a journaling card with scripture and notes on the back. I have a little tag here, and then I have one of these little library cards as well. Lots and lots of notes here. I'm just going to tuck my flashcards there, and they're just a little bit loose. I don't really want them to fall out, so I'm just taking one of these little mini paper clips from Felicity Jane. Actually, I have them in red, and I'm just going to kind of clip that up at the top. That's just going to really kind of just keep everything nice and secure. And then now I'm just kind of positioning the rest of these little pieces, trying to figure out where I want them to go. I decided to put Missy's picture down here in the bottom right-hand corner of this second page, but you can still see it when the page is open. And then this little typewriter was from the kit. I'm just going to include that here on the front of my file folder. First, I thought maybe I would try to add something else to it, but I really kind of just liked it there by itself, and so that you can kind of see that manuscript paper in the background, kind of pull out a couple of different things, but nothing was really striking me, so I'm just going to leave that actually. And then I have this little mini library card here that I have a scripture written out on, and I'm going to glue that down, but I wanted a little pop of red with this, and so I thought I would use that flower. In the end, I decided to use this little pen that came with the kit, ephemera, and I'm just going to glue this down together. I'm just kind of getting this in position, and then I'm going to first glue the pen to the blue library card, and then I will take that and then just glue everything down as one piece. That way I make sure I have everything kind of how I want it. And that will pretty much do it for my page. I did want to add this little flower. I just thought that this kind of helped her picture kind of pop off of there. So I just distressing. I had already done this to everything else that I glued down. I distressed in archival ink in ground espresso. And so I just wanted to do that to this flower too. And then I'm just going to make sure that's glued down, and then I trimmed off the edge, and that just kind of sets off her little cute photo there a little bit better. And then I do end up adding some red fabric to that tag that's tucked back there, but I cannot remember if I did that off camera or not. I ended up just putting it on there and stapling it. But anyway, that pretty much does that for this page for me. There you can kind of see that fabric. So if you liked this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.